PHP functions with arguments and parameters. You can specify parameters when you define your function. This helps it to accept input values at runtime. The parameters work like placeholder variables within a function. They are replaced at runtime by the values known as arguments provided to the function at the time of invocation. Also, we have functions with optional parameters and default value. You can also create a function with optional parameters. Just insert the parameter name followed by the equal sign followed by a default value. So let's see this in code. Right here I have created a document, so I'm going to create our PHP tag again. And let's start with the code from the last class. We had a function that all it does was to greet me. So we had echo and it said, "Hello, Mr. Precious." Then we had a break tag. So we can call this function now and just see how it works. And you can see, "Hello, Mr. Precious." But what if we want to allow this program to greet other people? How do we do that? Pretty easy. We have to send in parameters. So right here, we can create a parameter called name. And now that we have the parameter called name, we can always use it inside of the program. So this parameter called name is going to act like a variable, and we can also call it here. So hello, Mr. Name. Okay? And now that we've done this, if we run this program, you see that it throws an error because it says on line 15 it expects one argument that is on line 15, but we are not passing any argument. So right here we can pass Precious, and as you can see it works the same way. Hello, Precious. So what is happening now is that because our function accepts a parameter, when we call it we have to also pass an argument. So that is why we will have hello, Mr. Name. So anything that is passed as the argument here is going to be collected here by the function as the parameter and used inside of the function. So what if we want to also maybe declare my country? Hello, Mr. Name from country. So you see that we can accept more than one parameter and argument. All you need to do is to come up here and do something like this. So country. So now you have name that matches name, country that matches country. And if you want to call the function again, you also have to pass the value for the country. So Nigeria. Save and let's reload. And as you can see, it says, "Hello, Mr. Precious from Nigeria." Okay. Now, one place that you would really use this program is maybe when you're doing simple calculations. So let's try it. Let's create a function that adds two numbers. So let's say add num, and we can say the first one is num1, first parameter, then the second parameter is num2. And what do we want to do? We want to sum these two numbers. Okay, so let's create a new variable called sum is equal to, that is addition of num1 plus addition of num2. And now that we have it, we can echo out the results by just saying something like the sum of num1 and num2 is sum. As simple as that. If I load this on the page, what happens? Nothing, because we are not calling the function yet. So we have to call the function add num. And when you call the function, what do you need to do? Because it is going to accept two parameters, we have to send in two arguments. So let's say 5 and 10. What happens if I send in only one argument? Let's see. Error. Okay, exactly 2 is expected. So I put in 10. So you see, 2 parameters, 2 arguments. And if I reload this, you can see that it works. So it's echoing out the result that says the sum of 5 and 10 is 15. But if you check, I also said that we can accept optional parameters and default values. So how does that work? It works like this. Let's say num2 has a default value of 30. Okay? So what is going to happen here? Let's try it again. You see that the argument I pass here overwrites the one inside of the parameter. But what if I did not pass in a second argument? I only pass in for num1. Because we only pass for num1, but num2 already has a default value of 30. Let's see what happens. 35. So it uses the default value of 30. But if I pass in an argument here, maybe 20, is going to overwrite it. So you see the difference between using arguments and parameters and using default values in your parameters. So guys, this is it basically on PHP functions that accepts parameters and arguments. I'll see you in the next one.